to the platform to watch the arrival, but for your safety, please remain off all tracks and behind all yellow lines. If you have small children with you, please take them by the hand at this time. If you have not yet picked up or purchased your tickets, please
All aboard, and welcome aboard the Missionary Bridge Local, train number 100, with round service to East Chattanooga and return. My name is Jack, and I'll be your tour guide for this journey back in time. Your trainmen are Matt and Jonathan, your conductor is Andrew, and your engineer is Zach. For those of you who have not ridden with us before, we are what is considered a historic road, not a scenic road, meaning the focus of our journey is going to be the history of the road and our equipment rather than what you see out the window. This trip in particular is approximately a 55-minute experience. It includes 15 to 20 minutes of travel in each direction on 3 miles of track donated to us by the Southern Railway, and a 20 to 25-minute layover in East Chattanooga, where we will have a demonstration of our turntable as we spin the locomotive around 180 degrees for a return trip, as well as a brief tour of our back shop. As we depart, if you look to the left of our train according to the direction of travel, you will see a gravel road. That gravel road is the road for the original 1859 right-of-way. The line was elevated to its current height and position in the first decade of the 20th century by the Southern Railway due to numerous occasions of flooding. Chattanooga used to be extremely prone to flooding before the construction of the Chickamauga Dam during the Great Depression. As an example of this flooding, to the left of the train in just a moment, you will see a sign. Next to that sign will be a tree with a yellow line painted on it. That yellow line represents the high water mark from the Great Flood of 1867. At a whopping 9 feet above the track, he explains why this line had to be elevated. our first bridge over South Chickamauga Creek. In the water below, you may spot some turtles, river otters, geese, or a common Tennessee species, muddy water. To the left, you'll see a set of stone piers, which also mark the original 1859 right-of-way. Also of importance, to the left in just a moment, you will see some equipment on a siding next to us. That is McCarty siding, the only point on our trackage where the lines split. We are now crossing our second bridge over the Western and Atlantic Railroad. That line below us there is the first link into Chattanooga, being completed by the state of Georgia in 1850. That line runs from Atlanta to Chattanooga and is still owned by the state of Georgia today, who currently lease it out to CSX. Speaking from, you're riding in Central Georgia, number 906. This car was built in 1924 by the Pullman Company for the Central Georgia Railroad. This car is rather historic, as it's only one of 3 Jim Crow era cars still left in operation, as you may notice by the gray dividers in the middle of the car if you're in it. If you're riding in the middle car of the train that has the adjustable windows, you're riding in Southern Railway number 1000, built in 1925 by the Pullman Company for the Southern Railway. And if you're riding in the rear car of the train, you're riding in Central Georgia number 907, built in 1947 by the American Car and Foundry for the Central Georgia Railroad. This car is historic as it was used on a famous train known as the Nancy Hanks II, which ran between Atlanta and Savannah, Georgia. This tunnel is 986 feet long, almost the length of 3 football fields. It was completed in 1858, dedicated in 1859, and was excavated entirely by pick and shovel, as dynamite was not invented until 1867. This tunnel would see as many as 70 trains a day during the Second World War, but it was ultimately the reason why the line would be abandoned. After World War II, the railway was becoming much too large to fit the pre-Civil War era tunnel. Also at the time, the tunnel was single track, while the rest of the line was double track, creating a major bottleneck. So a new line was built just to the north and bypassed this Missionary Ridge altogether. In just a few months, we'll be entering Whiteside Tunnel. If you are in our open air car 1000, or in any of the outdoor vestibules, please keep all hands, arms, feet, legs, children, wives, and in-laws in the car all the time, as this car did cost us an arm and leg to build, and we hate for you to cost an arm and leg to travel through it. Also, if you have a flashlight app on your cellular device, I highly encourage you to have that out as we go through the tunnel to illuminate the walls. You've just heard the horn of our Tag 80 as we are about to enter the tunnel. Once again, please keep all hands, feet, and legs inside, especially if you're running 1000, as long as we are less than an inch away from the tunnel walls. Of course, have your flashlights out, and welcome to 986 feet of awesomeness, known as Tunnel Time, Tennessee. train in the early 20th century, as this is how you would approach downtown Chattanooga, with your final destination being Terminal Station, which is today been converted into the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel. Of course, some passenger trains back then would have consisted of more than just passenger coaches. For example, there might have been a baggage car, RPO car, sleeping car, lounge car, dome car, observation car, and of course my favorite, the dining car. We have almost reached the end of the there we go. Sorry about that. We are now on the west side of Missionary Ridge. Wrong area. We have almost reached the end of the Chattanooga track by the Southern Railway. So in about 5 more minutes or so, we'll... In about 5 more minutes or so, we'll be coming to a stop at our East Chattanooga Depot. Once there is the option of staying up for the train to the layover, or joining me, maintenance feature. Or you can join me for the demonstration of our turntable as we spin the locomotive around 180 degrees for the return trip to Grand Junction. I highly encourage everyone to join me for this demonstration, as this is one of the only places left in the world where you can see what's about to take place. So if you stay on the train, you will be missing quite a bit of the experience we do offer. Of course, if you need to use the restroom, there will be some located to the depot next door. Keep in mind that East Chattanooga is an active rail yard, so for your safety, be on the lookout for moving cars and locomotives. We do have 4 rules we ask you to follow while off the train. Rule number 1 is to please stay with the group at all times, as this is a guided tour, so please do not wander off. Rule number 2 is to please not comment any of the equipment you see around the property, as that is considered a fire hazard. What I mean by this is that if you were to climb and fall off, I would laugh, therefore getting you fired. Rule number 3 is to please stay on the paved pathway, so you do not wander on any uneven tracks, gravel, or ballast. And finally, rule 4 is of course to have fun. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we will be arriving in just a minute, so please stay seated and welcome to East Chattanooga. So now we're going to do that fun and very exciting process of turning our tag 80 around 180 degrees for the return trip to Grand Junction. Now this turntable that I'm speaking to you upon was built in 1916 by the American Bridge and Iron Company for the Central of Georgia Railroad. The Central of Georgia would use it from 1916 up until the early 70s, and eventually was acquired by TVRM in the early 80s, entering service for us on July 4th, 1982. Now this turntable is originally what we would have called an Armstrong table, meaning that back in the days of steam, they literally would have turned locomotives around by hand. Now, fortunately for you all, I'm not asking for any volunteers today, but you will still be helping me in some way by being Matt's mental and emotional support. Can everyone say hi, Matt?
Hi, Matt. And that's Andrew, by the way. Can everyone say thank you, Matt and Andrew? Now for a little bit about the locomotive that took you here and will take you back. The locomotive you see right here is Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia, or TAG for short, number 80. This locomotive was built in 1968 by the Electric Motive Division, or EMD for short, for the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Railway as the number 80. The TAG 80, which was the first GP38 ever built, was named the John A. Chambliss after the railroad's vice president, and because he was turning 80, hence this was given the number. The locomotive operated for the TAG until being sold to the Southern and renumbered to 2879. Later on in 1982, when the Southern merged with Norfolk and Western to form Norfolk Southern, it became Norfolk Southern 2879. The locomotive was eventually retired by NS in 2001 and was sold to the Chambliss family at an auction. Afterwards, the Chambliss family would give it to TVRM, where it kind of sat around for a few years, before in 2015 eventually being repainted and restored. Today, the TAG 80 is one of our flagship locomotives and can be seen on many of our trains, including the local as well as the dinner trains. As mentioned earlier, the 80 was also the first of its kind actually ever produced, which makes this locomotive pretty special in its own right. Now you may notice that our train is currently on track 1, but in order to get the locomotive to turn around and recouple to our train to head back, we have to take it to track 2. And just like that, we've done it. So can we give a big round of applause for our crew today? Now, folks, if you're still interested for a little bit more information, then you can meet my fellow trainman, John. Sorry about that. If you're in for a little bit more information, you can join my fellow trainman, Jonathan, over by the crossing where he will take you to our back shop to learn a little bit more. You'll see him as the man waving over there.
Now folks, you may notice that we do not directly pull into our Grand Junction station, but rather that we are turning our locomotive around. Because we are technically traveling in the wrong direction, we're going to be turning our locomotive around in what we call our Y, pronounced W-Y-E. Your trainman Matt is currently on engineer Zach's eyes for the moment so that he can turn around and we can head in for Grand Junction. In just a few minutes, we will be pulling into Grand Junction Station. We do thank you all for riding with us today at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum and hope you did enjoy your excursion. If you do choose to visit with us again in the future, we do have many other longer trips ranging from 1 to 9 hours, such as the Dinner on the Diner, Chickamauga Turn, and Somerville Steam Special. We also have holiday-themed rides such as the Halloween Erie Express and North Pole Limited, and special annual events such as the Day Out with Thomas and Founders Day. And lastly, we have our scenic Hiwassee River Rail adventure out of Etowah, Tennessee. Once again, please remain seated until we come to a complete stop, and we will let you know when it is safe to head for the exit. Once off, don't forget to go back to the station and have a look at the fantastic items offered in the gift shop and deli. Don't forget to explore the artifacts and equipment in the display area by the parking lot before you're leaving today as well. Do also head over to our exhibit building because admission is included with your ticket to ride the train. Also, don't forget any personal items once departing the train. If you enjoyed today's trip, my name is Jack the Hero, but if you didn't, my name is Jack the Zero. Once again, thank you for riding with us at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum, and on behalf of myself and the rest of my crew, we hope you have a great day. Next stop, Grand Junction.
Might be very close to this spot. I've talked to you before like that. You never know. Don't take somebody else's word for it, even if you trust them.